All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video, and we have a interesting video today. With we're going to be talking about banned restricted card edition notice for One Piece TCG, and this all just came up basically last night of the time of me recording this on July 21st. This restricted card, the restricted cards effective on July 28th, so literally next week of me recording this. We're just going to read through this real quick and then talk about it. The banned restricted card edition notice. For the One Piece card game, a deck may contain up to 4 copies of a single card, of the same card number. But for matches and official certified tournaments, it may be necessary for some cards to be made banned/restricted. There are 2 groups when this happens: banned cards and restricted cards. When a card is a banned card, it is not permitted at all in decks used, while a restricted card means only one of that card is permitted in the deck. So we're about to see a big restricted ban. Just to give you all a spoiler here, it's going to be Edward Newgate, the character, not the leader. Marco, the 4-cost, not the 5-cost one that KOs. This is the blocker Marco. And then Radical Beam, the event. Okay, so let's keep going. All cards with the same card number are considered the same card, even if the illustration is different, of course. This is talking about alt art cards. Cards that are designed as banned/restricted, cards that are designated as banned/restricted cards here may have this removed during updates, depending on the current conditions of the game. So please check it carefully when making a deck for an official tournament. So they're saying, like, in the future, it could be unbanned, right? In consideration to the current game rules and environment, the below cards are added to the banned/restricted card list from July 28th, 2023. So again, in 1 week, and here it is in big, bold, right, highlighted in red. Okay, so first up is Newgate. And like I said, I'm just going to tell you all of them because they all word basically the same thing here. So I'm just going to show you all the characters first. There's slight word. They word it slightly different, but it's kind of the same premise for every one of these cards. So Radical Beam, Marco, and Newgate. If you want to read the full thing in detail, you can go to the website. You know, this is just English, well, en for English .onepiece-cardgame.com. So if you want to go look up any kind of, if you want to read these rules and try to get all the specifics down, you can go to the website and do that. It's their official, the official One Piece website. Okay, so I'm just going to read this top part here. When this card is combined with Edward Newgate, the leader, or Zoro, the leader, the durability of up to one of your leaders gains plus 2,000 power until the start of your next turn, and then you cannot add life cards to your hand using your own effects during this turn, afforded players a substantial advantage against their opponent. Furthermore, using this card with cards such as Radical Beam and Guard Point enhanced its durability even further. In addition, the introduction of Izzo made it, or Izzo, however you say his name, made it possible to replicate this situation with a high degree of probability. The new searcher from OP03. Now this is the part that I don't quite understand. This whole last paragraph here with the asterisk. Due to the above, this card has a high usage and win rate in tournaments, and we have determined that it impedes the offensive and defensive tactics that are central to the enjoyment of the One Piece card game. That part I understand. As a result, we have decided to designate this card as a restricted card, up to 1 copy per deck. Please note that this restriction may be lifted upon the release of OP04. And lastly, this restriction is only enacted in regions using the English language version. I don't understand that part, or that's the most interesting part, or how do you want to say that? Because, okay, at the time of me recording this, let me just get out of full screen mode, go over here. Okay, I'm just going to go through this real quick. This is OnePieceTopDecks.com, right? This is the site that I use to get all my tournament lists. So, okay, go down to OP04 here. This is in the East, and this is as of July 15th. Okay, so what, 2 weeks ago? Let me see, it's the 21st today, right? Yeah, it's the 21st today. So as of 2 weeks ago, in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, listings on here, and I understand there are other listings, of course. You know, the other stuff could have won, but look at all these Whitebeards, and just to give the last massive tournament, at least it's been recorded on this website, of 890 almost 900 people, a Bandai tournament here at Yokohama 2023. Whitebeard got first and second, and it had another top 8 as well. And look at the list that won. Okay. Yep. Here's the leader. This is the one we're talking about, the OP02001 leader. Okay. OP01. This is the card getting restricted. At least in the East, right? Or in the West. And then Thatch, OP02. Jozu, OP02. Ace, OP02. Makino, OP02. Marco, OP02. Izo, OP03. Speed Jill, this is just a 4-cost vanilla. The new OP03 Marco, the 5-cost. The Radical Beam, OP01. Guard Point ST01, and then Whitebeard Pirates OP02. So I don't understand why this would not also affect the East. Why is it this restriction only enacted in regions using the English language version? And my thought on this is I got a few thoughts on it. Either A, they're seeing how it will affect our meta to see if they need to change theirs going forward. Like maybe it'll just make a healthier meta, which I think it will. We need to talk about that at the end. And then my next thought is they think OP04 is like gonna fix it, but it just won a massive tournament in OP04, not using a single card from OP04. I don't know. There's a few other thoughts. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below on that stuff. And then real quick, so Marco as well, the 4-cost, 5K power, or 5,000 power blocker Marco, and Radical Beam. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know about this one, guys. Like I'm glad. Don't get me wrong. I do think red was too strong. I just don't know if this was the route I would have taken to do this. And hey, I'm not the designer of the game. I don't get to determine anything like that. But I do think that this was not the most effective. Oh, and stuff down here. This is from, this is stuff that happened a while back here. Yeah, I don't think that I agree with this route. Like banning the stage card Moby Dick. I understand that. Okay, I don't know if I understand the Kabaji ban, because this was more about the Nami deck. It's like why this one? I guess maybe it was easier just to ban this one card than multiple cards. Anyway, I don't want to get into that right now. But yeah, I just hate that. The best part about playing a deck that splashes any red is you have access to this card, Edward Newgate, the character. And the decks that were abusing it, or I don't know if they were even quote unquote abusing it. The decks that were getting the absolute most value out of this card were, of course, Zoro and Whitebeard. Well, why not adjust something that is central to those decks? You know what I mean? As opposed to banning this card, or restricting this card to 1. Because, I mean, I'm just brainstorming here, right? Just thinking off the top of my head, like, what if I wanted to make a GARP deck or something, and, like, I wanted to run 4 of these as my boss card, that, like, helps me secure the win right into the late game. Well, sorry, you can't do that now because of Zoro and Whitebeard, the leaders. Because of how well they were doing. Every other deck must suffer because of how well they were doing. I don't know. That's strange logic to me, personally. Because even if they restricted this to specifically one of copies for Zoro, the leader, and for Whitebeard, the leader, I feel like that would have been a better route. But who knows? Maybe I'm thinking too much about it. Maybe Garp wouldn't even want to run this anyway. I don't know. I have no idea. So moving on, I wonder what kind of effect this is going to have on the format. You guys tell me what y'all think is going to happen. What deck is going to come out on top now? Like now that we have Marco down to a 1 of the 4-cost, the 9-cost Edward Newgate down to a 1 of, and Radical Beam down to a 1 of. What What is gonna become the new meta? How funny would it be? I don't think this is going to happen, but how funny would it be if red was still number one, right? Like they just, okay, we'll just take out three radical beams and put in three aggro spells here, or three aggro events here, you know, something like Fire Fist. We'll take out the 3 Marcos and just put in just whatever else 4 costs they want to substitute. And then they still have the 1 Newgate, and they just replace 1 Newgate with 3 more, you know, aces, right? Or like 2 extra aces and then 1 extra, like 2 Luffys or something, right? 2 5-cost Rusher Luffys, and just everything becomes more aggressive. I don't know. And again, I'm not saying that'll happen, but it would just be funny if it didn't actually affect the meta at all, and red just keeps winning. I don't know. I don't know if I want to make any predictions on that. I might say that for another video. I just don't personally see, especially banning Radical Beam. This, to me, was really crazy. It's like, well, wait a minute. That's like one of red's. Like, every single deck either has, or I think will eventually get, their 1-cost 4,000 power event. Like, conditional situational event. Right? Like, for example, black will get it in OP04 with Barrier. It's 1-cost 2,000 power, or 1-cost 2,000 counter, but it's 4,000 if you have 15 or more cards in your trash. I will say that for Radical Beam, it kind of is always on after a certain point, right? Like, and I do think maybe that was just too strong. Maybe it was too strong, I guess, you know. But it does hurt the balance of the entire game when they, like I said, I think when you look at the cards that they release, you can see a pattern, right? Like I said, for red, their 1-cost events are, you know, how do I say this? Red has a 1-cost event that can block for 4,000 power conditionally, and it's Radical Beam. You have to have 2 life or less. Black has Barrier. You have to have 15 cards in your graveyard or in your trash or less. Right, y'all see what's going on there, and what is it? Blast Breath is the same for purple, right? Whoops, spelled that wrong. Hang on 1 second. Let me just look it up on my other screen here. Okay. Yeah. So Blast Breath for purple. For this one, excuse me, this one there is no condition actually. It's just for this battle, your leader or one of your characters gets plus 4,000 power for 1. You just have to return 1 Dawn to your deck. That's almost not even a, you know, in certain decks, that's not actually a downside, right? You know, but anyway, you guys get the point. If they limit red's option down to 1 of, excuse me, yeah, I do apologize, guys, about my throat right now. My allergies are going crazy. But this Radical Beam going down to a 1 of doesn't make sense to me. Like, logically, with the way the game is balanced. I think I would have just tried to find another way to balance it, to be honest. And the way that it's like they think it's all about this 2-life thing. You notice that? Like Marco is, you may trash 1 card with a type, including Whitebeard Pirates, from your hand. If you have 2 or less life cards, play this character from your trash, rested. Same thing with Radical Beam, right? It's like, if you have 2 life or less, plus 2,000. Newgate says you yourself cannot add life cards to your hand using your own effects during this turn. So it's this weird idea that, like, oh man, we have to ban these cards that all have to do with the life for red. When it's like, did you ever think that maybe, I don't know, this is just me. Y'all hear me out on this. Tell me if you agree or disagree in the comment section below. I personally think it is the leaders that are too strong. That's what I think. I think Zoro, the leader, being able to effectively, for 1 Dawn, turn it into, he could potentially turn 1 Dawn into 6,000 power, right? Because the leader gets 1,000 power, and then all of your characters, the other 5 characters you have, if you have that many, can all potentially get an extra 1,000 power. That seems too strong to me. That's me personally. Like I said, like, even if, I mean, think about it, even if you only have 3 characters down, 1 Dawn equals 4,000 power in that case, because your leader gets 1,000, and then all of your characters get plus 1,000. And then, like with Whitebeard, Edward Newgate, the leader, you know, he's a 6,000 power base, and he has 6 life cards. So you're drawing one more card. Every single game, you're getting an advantage, like a handicap, per se. You're getting the handicap of getting 1 extra card over every single player you go against. By default, you're getting 1 extra card on them. And also 2 extra cards against the multicolored decks, right? Generally speaking. But the answer they came up with was to ban, or to not even ban, by the way, just to restrict Newgate to 1, Marco to 1, and Radical Beam to 1. Oh well, I guess it's progress, right? Like I think it's at least a step in the right direction. I just don't know why this would be the route you'd want to take. I don't understand that this would be it. So, all right, you guys know what y'all think in the comment section below. And where do y'all think the meta is going to go from here? What do y'all think is going to happen because of this? Is Red still going to just keep winning? Like, do you just go more aggressive now? Like, for example, do you just go like a full-on rush deck? Because I know I've been putting together a deck that I call it Ace to the Face, where you just run the most disgusting odd curve of rushers in the game. Of, you know, and I'm not saying it's going to be good or not, I don't know, but, you know, you'll just have like 3 costs rush Zoro, 5 costs rush Luffy, 7 costs rush Ace, you know, and there's a few in between ones as well, because I think there's a Sanji card that costs 2, and if you put 2 Dawn on him, you know, he ends up being like a 6k rusher. So it's like, that's basically your 4 cost, you know. Hang on, let me see if I can bring that up for y'all so y'all can see what I'm saying. And like I said, I had this already in the works before even, you know, how do I say it? Before I even heard about any kind of ban. Hang on, let me add it to this tab. There we go. I don't know what I just did. Just messed up everything. Here it is. Okay. And again, I'm not saying this is like going to be the new meta. I'm not saying anything like that. But in this list right here, you know, you just have lots of rushers and lots of easy KO stuff in the Marco, Vista, and you would just take out these 3 Radical Beams right here. Well, you could just go down to 1, first of all, and then go up 2 of whatever you want. And I can't stress enough, I'm not saying that this is like going to be the new meta. I'm just saying that, I don't know, how funny would it be if Red was still on top and they just became intensely aggro? But who knows, maybe that's actually what they're going for Red, like where they want Red to be this extreme aggro deck, and then certain decks they want to have more of a control feature to them, like maybe the black decks have, you know, because they have a little more removal than most, so maybe being able to remove that will make it really really interesting. But I don't know, I'm really curious to see what your guys' thoughts are on this whole situation. But yeah, I think that I don't think this was the right approach. That's all I'm going to say to end on. Because, like I said, and this only being in the West, or in English versions, like this is the most recent list from OP04 that I'm showing on the screen right now. This is a straight up OP03 list. What took them so long to do this? Like, why didn't they do this in the East first then if this was such an issue? I don't know. Oh well, like I said, guys, I am happy that they're at least doing something. They see there isn't a problem. Like, that's at least the first step, right? They at least see that there's an issue going on, so they're working to resolve it. I'm happy that they're at least doing that. It's a step in the right direction. So, all right, guys. Till next time, thanks for sitting around and hearing me ramble this whole time. But until next time, peace.